Alright, so I'll do a quick walk around here of the Model A, 29 Ford Model A sedan. I realize you guys have seen some of my videos and seen a lot of the little stuff on it, but you haven't gotten a chance to see the whole car. So here you go, I'll give you a walk around of the car. I do have doors, they're hanging in there inside on the wall. I got tired of swinging in and out of the door trying to do the floors, and I just never put them back on. So here we go, I'll start right here and give you the walk around. You can see floors and whatnot. You got a good view of that in some of the other videos. If you haven't, do me a favor, go back and check some of those out. So let's see here. I'll continue my walk around. You can see the project I just finished with blending in my visor on this side. I still have the other side to go. 350 small block Chevy. Late model roller block, basically stock. It's got good heads on it and a better camshaft, and then of course it'll have the tunnel ram like you probably have seen in some of the other videos. Grill shell finished up. It's about ready to get taken off as I disassemble this thing to weld up my chassis and finalize that and paint the chassis and get ready to put it back together. The outside of the car is going to be bare metal. Kind of did a little experimenting in a couple places, but I'll make it bare metal eventually. Wheels, I'm going to get a set that matches that for the front. Those are just some rollers I have on for now. Under the rear, I've got a Ford 9-inch with 325 gears, and it's a triangulated 4-link setup. I don't have my shocks yet, just some spacers in there to set the ride height. Yeah, so that's it. Quick little walk around. I don't know if you can tell, but the snow's starting to fly. And the sun's coming out. Great. Anyway, there you have it. That's the car. Continue to check out the videos. I like the support. Appreciate it. All right. See you next time. Hey guys, back in the garage. Hope everybody's having a good lockdown time, social distancing and whatever else you have. I know here in Colorado we have a stay-at-home order for a few weeks, and it's kind of been it's been trying, but it's also been good at the same time. So got a little bit of time in the garage today, so I'm going to take a few minutes and kind of show you guys the car. The weather should be good to push it out, do a little walk around. You can see what the car is all about and what it looks like. And so you guys, you might have seen a few of my videos, you know what I'm doing, okay? What I'm building, 29 Model A. I'm showing you some videos of how I'm doing it, but I realize what I haven't done is sit down and tell you why. And there's a lot of reasons why, and you guys don't want to sit here and listen to the sentimental stuff about how I grew up and the things I did that kind of led me to where I am today, what my day job is, and that kind of stuff. But suffice to say, I did grow up wrenching on cars. If you guys follow my Instagram, Bad Hombre Garage, you can check it out. You can see a bunch of pictures. I've been posting some older pictures lately of some of the old projects we did, or when I was younger, some of the stuff my dad did, which is just some really cool top-of-the-line stuff that he, much like me here, was just a dude in his out in his carport making hot rods, really just living a dream. And I embody that. I love it. I want to do it. I want to do it with my kids. So it kind of leads me to what I'm doing here. In fact, if any of you guys have seen the pictures of my my dad's 32 Ford, I really want to get this thing going and driving this summer so that we can go places and cruise together, where I'm in my Model A and he's in his Deuce Coupe. So his is much cooler than mine, by the way. Blown 392 Hemi. Go check it out. Again, there's pics on my Instagram page. So if you guys will bear with me for a few minutes, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing with the car. Okay? This is kind of weird. Not going to be a lot of build stuff going on here. If you just want to see the building, go check out some of my other videos. When I'm done with this today, I'm going to try to clean up a bunch of other little projects and put out a video of that as well. But if you're interested in why I'm building the car the way I am, check it out. Follow along. Okay, first things first. The name. The Bad Hombre. So I got this thing My dad helped me pick it up. I was stationed overseas, and we were emailing back and forth. He had sent me some stuff, or I'd sent him, I can't remember, about this car for sale. And I said, yeah, I always wanted a fenderless hot rod, let's do it. So he went and picked it up for me, and I thought, well, I need a good name for it. Well, about that time, there was a presidential election going on, and one of the candidates got up in one of his speech, used the term bad hombre. And I thought, I love it. It's stuck. It's great. What a cool name for a car, so I'm going with it. This might not be that bad when it's done, but oh well, it's a cool name. Everybody's naming their car nowadays. So you guys might have watched some of the Stacey David cars back in the day, but I remember watching some of his stuff, and I've been watching a little on YouTube lately. That guy always had a list up with the vision of the car that he was building at the time. He was always referencing, here's what we're building and why. And so I kind of took cues from that and put my list together. So here we go. I'm going to walk through these, each of these one by one. Okay, 29 Ford Model A 2-door, the Bad Hombre. First one, style cues from the late 60s. Looking at pictures of these old cars, I love the late 60s style of hot rods. I think that's probably some of the coolest hot rods, especially for this kind right here. I don't have the patience or skills to build the beautiful street rod, right? I'm not going to build America's next, best roadster here in my garage. I just like cool hot rods, and that in my mind embodied a time of two things. One is a time when people just built hot rods and used them, and two, small block Chevys were prevalent. So that's why I kind of picked that time. And plus it's kind of pre-disco, pre-mullet era stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with it. My other car's a 73 Chevy Nova. But this is what that's what I want to go with. So when I start thinking about how to do things with the car, I look at a lot of the pictures from late 60s, stance of the car, kind of wheels and tires I put on it, the cheater slicks. I think those are cool. The fact that the body's channeled down over the frame, that's good. That's the kind of stuff that I'm going with. I picked a shifter that looks like the 4-speed shifter. I'd love to have a real 4-speed shifter in there, but I got an automatic. But that's why I picked that. That's why I run the real basic hot rod style steering column instead of a fancy, late model tilt steering column. The tilt steering will be great in this thing, but it doesn't fit the motif. So that's what I'm going with. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about period correct per se. I don't need to look down my nose at anybody who does anything differently and think I'm better than anybody by trying to stick with a certain period. I just kind of, when I have a choice, that's the style I'm going to pick, okay? Obviously, I'm not hung up on period correct. There's all kinds of stuff on this car that's not exactly period correct. I got a small block Chevy. All right, that's cool. It fits, even though this is now it's out of like a 2001 GMC van, it's a hydraulic roller block, not period correct. Works, look at it, it'll look cool and it'll kind of fit that period. My intake I'm going to use, big old tunnel ram. I love that. Early 70s, my dad ran a couple different cars. He had a Chevy Vega with a tunnel ram on it, and it was probably the same tunnel ram, I don't know, I'd have to ask him. He ran on his dragster, his front engine dragster back in the day. I think that's cool. That fits the theme for this car. That's what I mean by the styling from the 60s. Second point, a true hot rod. Why I'm building this car? Because I want it to be a hot rod. I want to show my kids that it's okay to build something and just go out and enjoy it like a hot rod is supposed to be built. You don't have to hang out and leave it in there until it's perfect. You don't have to be embarrassed if the paint's flawed or something. Just go out there and thrash it and enjoy it, drive it. That's what a hot rod's for. That's what I want this car to be like. I want somebody to look at it and realize, man, that dude made that in his garage. He did it all by himself in his garage. Yeah, man, that's a hot rod. All right, we put together some money, what we can. We go buy some parts, trade, make do with what we got. That's what I want to go in this thing. That's what I mean by a true hot rod. Okay, capable of mid 13 quarter mile times. 13-second quarter mile times is what I'm talking there. I was in high school in the 90s when you couldn't just go buy a car and go down to the track and have it run 13s. You know, your fast cars from the street or from the dealership were 14, 15-second cars, you know. Your Mustangs and whatnot you get at the time. I realized that a respectable street car could run 13s. You know, there was some 12-second, 11-second cars running around, but if you could turn some 13s, man, you weren't going to lose that often. So I think that's reasonable for this car. Why that number's important? It's not really important. I just don't want it to be a dog, you know. I don't want it to be one of those things that it's all show and no go, you know. I want when you stand on the skinny pedal on this thing to be able to know it. And I'd love to take it down the track. Nostalgia drags or something like that, that's just a blast. It's a good time. So that kind of plays in a little bit when I do stuff like, you know, pick rear end gears for the car. The camshaft that I put in the motor, I wanted one that was going to provide a little bit more performance. Those are a good set of heads on the engine, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, the next one. I don't like one of my goals being a negative. However, this is one to keep in mind for building this. No billet aluminum. There's a time and a place for everything, and I just don't want to mix it up. To stick with the period correctness of the car, and the period goal for the car, and the overall motif. I just don't want any billet aluminum. I think it'd look out of place, you know. So we'll keep that in mind. Okay, and then a couple other things here. Maximum room inside for the family. Okay, there's a reason why I did certain things with the car. I got 3 kids. Right now they're about to be 12, 10, and 8. Married. The 5 of us like to go out and go ride. Cruise around in cars. I love to cruise down to the local cruise in with the whole family, go to the ice cream shop in the summer, and we all want to fit. So I need to make room for my family if I have to fit in here. So some of the things I've done to the car to make it that way, or not done, are intentional. I'll start with the obvious, building room for seats. And if you haven't seen some of those videos, I'll try to put a little link on there if you're on the app. You can jump on and hit the link to the videos of where I put the seats in the car. The reason I put a back seat in is that I want to fit 5 people in here. So that's the most obvious thing. Room for seats, which is pretty tough to do, especially if I'm trying to run my gas tank behind the back seat. But we're making it happen. But it also plays itself out in other ways. My floorboard and my firewall. I pushed that firewall as far forward as I could to make foot room. I don't have a big toe board. My brake pedal comes up through the middle of the floor, instead of, you know, coming through the firewall on a hinge. All that so that I can make maximum room inside for the family. Now, I sacrificed some channel in the body over the frame. I got that. That did push the floor up. But I'm going to make up for it by not chopping it. These cars look great with a chop on them. I mean, that'd be a true hot rod. But the sacrifice I'm making is I'm going to leave it the stock height to leave room in the back, so that I leave room in the car so that I can have a back seat without my kids' heads hitting the ceiling, that kind of stuff. I think that's it first. Yeah, that kind of plays in. That kind of plays into why I'm building the car I am as far as the family goes. I want to have room for all of them in there. There's also other considerations, right? It's going to have seat belts. I want it to be safe. You know, I've got disc brakes on the front. I want this thing to be able to stop. I don't want it to be a disaster going down the road, because I am going to cruise with my whole family inside. And then finally, the last thing on my list, my last objective when I build this thing is I just want it to look cool. I want it to look cool. Everybody does, right? Why else are we building a hot rod if we don't think it looks cool going down the road? So there's some of the stuff that I do that goes into that. You know, saving up a little money, buying some cool looking wheels, I think. That plays into it. Doing stuff like, you know, putting my visor on, mounting that and blending it in. I think that looks cool on one of these hot rods. Again, the tunnel ram, and then the big velocity stack air cleaner assemblies I got for it. That kind of stuff looks cool. And the 3 things, right? The 3 things that makes a car, right? Paint, wheels, tires, stance. I talked about the wheels and tires. That's why I'm going to run those wheels and the cheater slicks I'm gonna have matching wheels like that on the front. The stance, I think I nailed it about as much as I can with the way that it's set up. I love the way these things look when they're dropped down real low, but in order to drop it down super low, you get the rear suspension up into the back of the car and you can't run a back seat. So I think that's the best compromise I've got right there with the amount of suspension travel and that much floor room sacrificed. So wheels, tires, stance, paint. That's the third thing about how to make a hot rod look cool. I'm not going to paint this car. I'm going to paint the frame, I'm going to paint the inside, I'm going to paint everything but the outside of the body. That, my friends, is going to be bare steel. Lots of guys are doing it. I think it looks awesome. I'm pretty fortunate because this is a pretty good body. Like, it's in pretty good shape. The steel is solid. It looks good. Yeah, sure, it's wavy. You run your hand over it and there's waves and dings and stuff, but there's not a lot of rot on it. So I'm gonna just strip what paint is on here, clean it up, and go with bare steel. So I think that's gonna look cool. The good thing is, eventually, if I get tired of that look, or I don't like it, or I want to redo the car to look differently, all right, fine, then we paint it. No big deal. I'm gonna give it a shot though. All right. Hey, kind of a long video, a lot of talking, not a lot of doing, but hopefully that did something for you guys. Lets you know a little bit about me, kind of who I am, and what makes me think, what goes into building these hot rods. Hopefully lets you know a little bit more about the hot rod. As I like to say, I'm just one dude in a 2-car garage, living the American dream here, trying to put a hot rod together to go out and enjoy with my family. In my line of work, in my day job, there's a thing that happens called mission creep. Okay, and that's when you have a mission, and then as you start to train and prepare and get into it, you start opening into other ideas and other missions. Before you know it, you're no longer on the first mission. I keep that in mind with building this hot rod by putting my list together. Okay, I'm going to stick with this list the best I can. Whenever I start a new aspect of it, I look at it and go, okay, let's follow those guidelines, so that at the end I have the same car that I envisioned getting. All right, that's it. That's it for this video. Hopefully it was good for some of you guys. If you like it, let me know. Remember to subscribe. It helps me out, right? I want to grow this channel. I want to grow this community. Let me know if you're doing something similar. Let me subscribe to your channel and check it out. Give me some comments, some feedback. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, get out in the garage. Go make something run. Have fun with it, right? Let's build this community. All right, thanks.